Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into venture capitalist Marc Andreessen's really provocative take on the future of AI. He says we're not just in another tech boom. Nope, we're in the middle of a massive, world-changing shift, and we're going to break down exactly what he means by that.
All right, let's just jump right into his biggest claim. He's not just saying AI is cool or the next big thing. He is flat out arguing that it's a bigger deal than the internet. I mean, that is a huge statement. So let's unpack why on earth he thinks that.
So to really get your head around a claim that big, we first have to look at one fundamental difference: how these two revolutions actually got built from the ground up.
Okay, now look at this, because this is where it gets really interesting. It's all about speed. Think about it. The internet had to be physically built. We're talking decades of laying fiber optic cables, building data centers. It literally scaled at construction speed. But AI? It's a whole different ballgame. It's software. It just runs on the highways the internet already built. It scales at download speed to billions of us who already have a supercomputer in our pockets.
And this really puts things in perspective. I mean, the ideas behind AI have been around for a long time, but Andreessen's point is that the real starting gun for this whole thing was late 2022, that ChatGPT moment. So in his eyes, we're just at the very, very beginning of a transformation that's going to span generations.
Right, so when you have a revolution that's moving this fast, it immediately brings up one of the biggest economic questions you could possibly ask.
And listen, this is not some abstract philosophical question for a late-night debate. Nope, it's a very practical, dollars and cents question that businesses and regular people are already answering with their wallets. I mean, when a machine can think and write and create, what's the price tag on that?
And we're already seeing the answer, right? People are willing to pay serious money, premium subscription prices, for these advanced AI tools, sometimes hundreds of dollars every single month. That's a level of value capture that was just totally unthinkable in the early days of the web.
And all this is forcing this really fascinating change in how software is even sold. We're moving away from the old model of just paying for a license, a seat, and we're moving toward a model where the price is directly tied to the actual value it creates for you. So, more sales, higher productivity, the software gets a piece of that pie.
Now here's a really interesting, kind of counterintuitive idea from Andreessen. He argues that these high prices, they might actually be a good thing for us, the users. Why? Because all that money gets funneled right back into a crazy aggressive R&D cycle. That means the products get better, and they get better faster, which ultimately gives more value right back to you.
Okay, so this absolute explosion of innovation, it's not just happening in a bubble, it's happening inside this really fierce race between two totally different ways of thinking about how to build AI.
But here's the thing, Andreessen doesn't think there's going to be one clear winner. He actually sees this healthy balance. You've got the big, closed-source models from the giant tech companies pushing the absolute limits of what's possible. And at the exact same time, you have open-source models that spread all that new knowledge around the world, letting anyone from startups to researchers get in on the action.
And this timeline tells a really critical story. In the world of AI, it seems like nobody stays on top for long. Competitors, both here and abroad, are closing these huge performance gaps at a speed that is just astounding. That suggests this stuff is going to be really, really hard for any one company to monopolize.
And that super fast catch-up game? Well, that leads us right into the geopolitics of all of this. What a lot of people thought was a US-dominated game has, almost overnight, become a direct two-horse race.
The release of this Chinese model called DeepSeek was a genuine shock to the system. It wasn't just that it was good, it was open source, it was efficient, and get this, it came from a hedge fund, not some massive state-run laboratory. That proves that top-tier innovation in China is coming from all over the place.
So, looking down the road, Andreessen sees this whole competition moving out of the purely digital world and into the physical one. We're talking about AI merging with robotics, and he argues that's where China has a huge natural advantage because they just dominate global manufacturing and hardware supply chains.
So you've got all this incredible tech, this intense global race. So what's the single biggest risk? According to Andreessen, it's not some sci-fi robot apocalypse. It's something much, much more human. He basically says, hey, we've seen this movie before. Every single major tech wave, from the steam engine to the internet, was met with these dire predictions of mass unemployment, society collapsing, and every single time, those fears turned out to be wrong. And this really gets to the heart of a contradiction he sees everywhere today. He points out that if you just watch what people do, not what they say, you find that many of the loudest critics of AI are also secretly its biggest fans and users.
So all of this leads to what he thinks is the real danger: scoring an own goal with bad policy. He argues that if we rush into poorly designed regulations, like, say, creating 50 different AI laws for 50 different states, we could completely cripple our own AI industry and basically just hand the future over to our competitors.
Ultimately, Andreessen's whole outlook leaves us right here, with this question. The technology is here. It's happening. It is moving forward whether we like it or not. The only real choice we have is, are we going to be the ones to lead it, or are we going to let fear make us leave it on the table for someone else to pick up?